Well, welcome to DJNTV, and I'm Bill Herman here for John Young. And the reason I'm on today is because, well, many of you know that there's going to be a conference, the DJNTV conference in Las Vegas coming up in February. And John and I have been doing conferences since, since forever ago, back when we were at least, 3 or 4 years old, because we couldn't be that old, right? And anyway, we're going to be doing some cool stuff in Las Vegas. And one of the things John has asked me to do, and what we're going to be doing, he and I, every once in a while, is doing a presenter spotlight. And today, I'm here with Donnie Lewis. And Donnie Lewis is going to be presenting. Hey, Donnie, say hi to everybody.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Why don't you tell everybody where you're from and how long you've been doing this for?
So yeah, I'm based out of New York, about 50 miles or so from the city, upstate. Opened up my company in 2012, Your Event Matters, and then in 2015 opened up Illuminate Event Lighting and Monograms. And with that, we do a lot of monogram work for DJs all across the country. And then we do our projection jobs too with the Illuminate company. Started really in '97. Kind of had some fun with it while I was a teenager.
So you were DJing?
I did, yeah, in '97, and then 2002 did my first event, and that event was a car show. 22 years old, had 5,000 people come out to the car show, 500 cars. Had no idea what I was doing.
Did any of them dance?
I did the entire car show with all those people. We had Mims there performing live. We had a bunch of people performing. I knew nothing about insuring events, so I had no insurance on the event. I thank God to this day that nothing happened. It was close, but yeah, thank God nothing happened. But yeah,
well, I think that's how most of us do it. We just kind of figure something out as we do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure that show works out the way we want it to.
So you liked doing it. So what kept you doing it?
So I kept doing it until about 2006, and then I stopped. I was big into auto racing at the time too, so I kind of devote a lot of my time into that, and then went back to school. So yeah, I kind of put the turntables away for a little bit, like a Friday night hanging out with friends before we went out. I would spin in my apartment before we went out. But yeah, most of my time was devoted to, driving to Atlanta Motor Speedway or up to New Hampshire or to the various car shows and events.
So you're a driver, or were you with a team, or?
No, I was a driver. Yeah, I used to race quarter mile. Yeah, NHRA Sport Compact. I'm one of those guys that had a Honda Civic that would race. Yeah. But it was fast. It was almost 700 horsepower. It was like a nice quarter mile. Yeah.
Were you smart enough to keep it on the track, or did you do some street stuff too?
No, I definitely did some street stuff. Street Outlaws. Yeah, that was us back in the day.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, having a Honda Civic driving down the road with a parachute on the back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you like the adrenaline, apparently.
I do. I everything that I put my time into, I definitely put my time 100%. I don't want to half-ass anything. So, yeah, I like having fun, and I don't like being bored.
So, what got you? Why give up that? I mean, I'm assuming you probably didn't give up the racing altogether, but
I did actually. So, I sold my my street car, and I sold my drag car when a friend passed away from street racing. Kind of hit home pretty hard. Was a big deal for me and my wife. So, what we just said, it's time to grow up a little bit. And we put everything away. I've been kind of sad about putting the stuff away, but, it was a decision that was made because, the passing of my buddy Rob. So, but yeah. And then in 2010, I had a buddy who kept coming out to me asking me to DJ for his wedding company. And I had no desire to play Love Shack every Friday night.
Okay.
I really didn't. I had no desire. And I've always had my things that I do to make money. And in 2011, my world kind of came crashing down when online poker got shut down. So I needed to come up with some more income. And then so I ended up taking that job for that company, and it was a love-hate thing when I started that job. I knew not much about weddings. But what I did learn was I learned what not to do when working with couples. When I was working with this company, I would go to weddings and not know anything about the bride and groom. Sometimes not even know their name. Like literally getting lineups during cocktail hour. And, it was such a stressor. And I could only imagine what it was like for the couples. Sometimes I walk in the room and the couple would see me and immediately ask me who I was. And I said, I'm going to be DJ tonight. My name's Donnie. And, they would start screaming at me and they would say, the owner said he was going to be here. Why is he not here? And, finally went up to the owner. There was an issue that happened because of planning wise on their end and the paperwork that they sent to me that was lost in the mix. But I went up to them in November of 2011, and I asked them. I said, "Listen, I want to keep working for you. I don't want to open up my own company, but I want to plan with the couples. I want to get to know them. I want to. This is weird. I don't like going out to weddings not knowing who people are." And he said no, and I told him, "Look, man, I really want to do this. Otherwise I'm just going to leave." And he said, no. So I left and I started my company. And I'll never forget this. He called me when he found out that I started Your Event Matters. And he said that I'll never make it. The industry will swallow me whole. And that was 2012. And we've been growing ever since.
Wow. I think there's a lot of DJs out there that have a very similar story to that. I have a similar story. It is interesting, the evolution that we get to when all of a sudden we're like, well, I want to try to take this seriously, or I want to, I had an evolution in who I'm responsible for and what I want to be responsible for myself, for my family, for my customers.
Right.
And I wish I could say that often that, that his experience and his way of handling it isn't something that happens. But right. I know that there's a lot of guys watching this right now that have got a very similar story, just Absolutely. A different name company and a different name guy.
And it's unfortunate that they have that story.
Yeah, it really is. Did you start having success with Your Event Matters immediately, or was there a slow burn? What happened with that?
So the first year was slow. We came out kind of big. I remember the first bridal show I did, I was into projections, even before doing anything with weddings. So we created this little fireplace thing that I still use today. And I set it up at the bridal show, at the wedding show, we call it now, at the wedding show, and did the fireplace thing. And I remember that company was laughing the whole time, like pointing, like, what is this thing that he's got going on? And, it was just me being different. I don't like doing anything like anybody else, right? So I want to put my own spin on everything that we do. Yeah. And, the off season, I spend that in my office. I'll take the bouquet and I'll put it down on the table and I'll say, what do we do to make this a little bit different than we did last year? Or like building out the new DJ booth. The last DJ booth was definitely unique, but it's something that we've had for 3 years now. So I want to kind of freshen it up. Definitely just lost track a little bit.
No, that's okay. So the whole idea with you beginning what you're doing is to create something that isn't out there, something brand new, and do something different. And your skills, your highest skills, it sounded like was in the use of projectors and projection.
Yeah, tech-wise, yeah, for sure. But I think what kind of blew us up was our customer service. We really involve ourselves in our couples. I require a couple of things from our couples when they book us, and I tell them this at the planning meeting. I'm very transparent. I tell them everything up front. I say two things. I said I want an open line of communication. Mm-hmm. I want you guys to feel comfortable reaching out to me. I tell them it's not a sales pitch. I genuinely want to get to know you guys. I said, we're not going out every Friday, Saturday night, but if you book with me and then I don't hear back from you until the planning meeting, it's going to be harder for me to tell your wedding when I know nothing about you guys. Right. And then the second thing I asked them, and this is something that some of my buddies kind of, hit on me for, is I tell them you got to accept the word no sometimes. It's not, it is about you. It is about what you guys want. But the success of your event is based on, the people that you hire, right? So you got to know who you're hiring and trust those people and trust their skills, and allow them to help guide you through building the party that is going to show off your guys' personality.
Right.
So
it's a foreign thing for because vendors aren't, wedding vendors, especially wedding vendors, to say no to a client when they're throwing money at you. Are you nuts? Are you ridiculous?
Right.
I completely understand and agree that most times to be able to bring your best game, you're going to have to look at your clients and say, you probably don't know as well as I do.
Right. And that's not saying that I'm not going to do something I want to do. It's just saying that if you're going to do it a certain way that I think is going to not be successful when we're executing it that night, I'm going to tell you. It's probably not going to work out that way. So maybe try it out this way. And I tried to have them visualize their night while they're there. While we're sitting down in our office and we're talking about their timeline.
It really is important, and people aren't used to that. And people aren't used to it because how many people that we work with actually have ever done any kind of event ever, right? So all they know is the format. This is how it's supposed to go, and this is how my sister did it, and it looks like if I just line it up like her and I throw all those things in the room and shake, it'll hopefully be great, right?
Right.
And that's what we as real serious producers and artists are trying to avoid, those things that we just are gambling on.
Yeah, for sure.
You know exactly what I'm saying. I know you do. Absolutely. Because that's the way you're talking about here.
Absolutely. And I think the couples value the fact that I'm honest with them. And I'm not. I tell them, I say, I'm working for you. I'm not working for the venue. When we're sitting, but that doesn't mean that when we're sitting down doing our timeline, when we're building out a custom timeline, I like on my planning form before they come in, I already know what time the sunset's going to be. Mm-hmm. So I know that the photographer might want to take him out at this specific venue at this time. So we're going to allocate time in that timeline for that. Right. So I'm paying attention to all the professionals in the room, coordinating with them beforehand, and then, executing what the couple wants and just building that night for them. Right. I just need them to open up more. That's it now. I just want them to open up more. It's like everybody just wants to just party and dance the whole time. Let's do some fun things that are completely unconventional that, will add that emotion to the night.
Right. Well, and I think that that's more about because they've seen only one kind of successful guy, right? There are a lot of people out there that are trying to do the kind of things that you're talking about, but most of them, are doing it because they're trying it for the first time, or they heard they were supposed to be good at it, or, hey, it's projection mapping. That's really important. So I'm going to do that, but without any skill level or any knowledge of what they're doing, that comes off poorly. And then more people see the poor execution. Yeah. So when they come up in front of people who know what they're doing, the first thing they're going to go is, well, you're just trying to make me do a thing I know is awful. As opposed to, there's just a lot of poor execution out there.
Seriously.
That's one of the things you're going to be talking about at the DJNTV show with your master class. And I believe that's on Tuesday, right?
I think so. I don't think I got the time yet, but I know it's either going to be Tuesday or, I think Tuesday, maybe 12 to 2. If I'm right.
What I have here is Tuesday at 3:30. That may be changed.
Oh, okay.
But that's what I have in front of me. That's what, and you're going to do a 2-hour masterclass?
Correct. Yes.
And in that, you're going to be going through a lot of the production stuff that a lot of people are doing and expecting and wanting now, that you kind of look at from art, like me. Okay, I'm a performer. I'm a performer first. When it comes to production, I've got to find expertise in the people that I work with. So if Donnie Lewis was in my neck of the woods and I had people that wanted monograms and animations and mapping walls and cakes, I could say, yes, I can do that for you, but I'm going to collaborate with the guy who really knows what he's doing. And I know what it's supposed to look like because as a producer myself, I can do those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I know that there's a lot of guys that would like to do that. Do I really want to learn how to be a really entertaining MC, or can I just really get good at backstage? And backstage production stuff that you're talking about can have some really big, huge impact on what it looks like and how it's presented, especially if you're working with a professional performer who knows how to set things up.
Exactly. Or if you're good enough to do all of it at once.
I know.
Or attempt to.
Exactly. Well, I'm good enough to know that I can bring people in and make me look good.
Right. Yeah. The masterclass I'm really excited about. Right. I spoke to John when he reached out to me about doing this in the first place, and I kind of wanted to see his vision on what he wanted me to do. Because I've been speaking at the Lighting Symposium, at the Marquee Show, and Atlantic City, and a few other places. To give you a quick backstory, I think it was 5 years ago I spoke at the first Lighting Symposium, and I asked a question, and I asked the room there was about 60 people in there, and I asked them, how many people in here have used a video projector to shoot a monogram, to do a wall mapping, or anything like that? And you know how many people raised their hand? Not a damn one.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot more right now, believe it or not.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, so then it was zero. I asked it again about 2 years ago, I think it was, in Atlantic City, and we had a couple hundred people in the room at the time, and I would say about a third of the people were using it. And then at the last show that I spoke at, most of the people in the room had at least shot a monogram, maybe not at an event, but they at least attempted to do it, right? So they're figuring it out. So usually my talks are based on the tech, teaching people how to do things using PowerPoint and going over videos and things like that.
Right.
But now you have a third of the room that knows nothing about it, a third of the room that knows something about it, and maybe you've shot monograms or done some kind of wall projections, and then another third of the room that are already doing cakes, and they're doing some big stuff. So how do I give value to all people in the room, all those people that have paid good money to come to the show to hear all of us speak on whatever we're giving, whatever topic we're speaking on, right?
Right.
So at the Mobile DJ Meetup, we did a QA session, and that went over really well, right? But I wanted to expand on that. So I asked John when he brought this up to me, I said, hey, would you mind if I did something like actually map the cake, map a wall, create a monogram, and display it on the wall, do all of the functions that have to be done instead of just answering questions. So basically me sitting there with my laptop, smearing my screen onto the projector screen behind me, so people are seeing what I'm doing, asking and answering questions while I'm doing it, mapping a cake, mapping a back wall, using two projectors at once, doing monogram work, and thank the Lord for Mr. Ben Stowe, because him and Katie have been great, or him and Kat have been great with supplying the equipment for the masterclass, so that way we could give this experience to everybody that's going to be part of the masterclass itself. So I always want to add value. I always want to make sure that if somebody's spending money and their time, and they're sitting down listening to me speak, that they're going to get something out of it that they're going to be able to use right away. So I do a one-on-one workshop in my home office. Mm-hmm. I've had a couple dozen people come here, and we spend 6 hours, and they hands-on with everything. And all those people are out there doing these jobs now, and they're doing great work at it. So I figured, how can I do that for the DJN show, right? The DJNTV show. How can I bring that over there and give that level of value to the attendees? Because I mean, if you're not trying to learn this, or if you're not trying to coordinate with somebody that knows it in your area, you're missing out, because it's definitely the next wave. It's, photo booths 10 years ago, when they were first coming out, it's going to be the new thing. Hopefully it doesn't turn into where people are botching things up and, just throwing an iPad out. And, I hope it doesn't turn that way. But, we have some good people out there speaking on the topic and instructing and teaching how to do things the right way. So should be a ton of value for all the attendees that are coming.
So now if I am there at the conference and love the idea of this, I've seen it before, and I see you're going to do a masterclass, and I think to myself, masterclass, I've never even touched a projector.
Yeah.
Except for maybe to do a PowerPoint of my own for my mother's 60th birthday, okay? And,
right.
And I don't even know how to use PowerPoint. How am I going to do this? Am I going to
extend my desktop so you can see the video?
Right, exactly. Am I going to see this class and think to myself, what if I look at this class and I think to myself, that's way beyond me? What if I don't have a lot of information or know what I'm doing? Is there something for me who's interested, and okay, will I walk away with actually any knowledge, or will I walk away mostly with the inspiration to learn more?
So I want to do both, right? So I want to inspire people to learn more, because obviously you're going to come to the 2-hour class and you're going to absorb all that information, and you're going to hopefully kind of hit the road running with it.
Right.
And you know, kind of reach back out to me and ask questions about how to do certain things, you know, on a different level. But yeah, no, I mean, the idea is, you know, get the equipment from Ben and set it up when the class starts. You know, I'm not going to have the projectors on the stands ready to go when people come in, and I'm just going to be mapping a cake. I'm going to show them, you know, I'm going to do real basic to kind of advanced. You know, I want the last part of the first part of this, the master class, to be real basic, setting up the projector, hooking it up.
Like the hardware all the way to the software.
Exactly. You know, opening up Grand VJ, how to use the preferences inside Grand VJ.
What is that again?
Grand VJ is the program that I use.
Grand VJ.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. All one word. It's an Archaeos product. But it's, yeah, Grand VJ XT is what I use for my mapping work.
Is that what most people are using, or are there more than a few of these?
So there's definitely more than a few. If you go out to the AV world, most of those people are using Resolume. In the DJ end of the world, most people are using Grand VJ. For what we do, I like Grand VJ more because it serves multiple purposes. If you're not mapping, you could use it as a video switcher when you're just displaying content in your room. So you're paying the $400 for the program. You're not going to just let it sit dormant on your computer.
What do you mean? There's a program that I can buy and have, and I don't have to spend monthly fees to be able to use. They still have those?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Wow.
And it used to be like $800. Now it's only like $350, $400.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn the content, you're gonna have to pay monthly to Adobe. So they got you there. They got you handcuffed there.
Okay.
But, you know, and then, you know, so the first part, we go over that stuff. And then, you know, my vision is to show them how we create a monogram, you know, demo my monogram pack and show them how we use it on there. Real quick edit, throw the monogram up on the wall so they see how it goes, keystone it, make sure it's lined up, and do it the way that it should be presented the right way. And then go from there into mapping a wall. And then the last thing, showing them how to map a cake and create that custom content, right? So where we do like the waterfalls falling down our cake, or where we have those monsters punching through the cake and climbing up the cake, things like that. Showing them what we're doing with custom crops and how we're creating those animations. So for me, you know, I got lucky, and you know, I made some friends overseas that have been doing things like this for a long time, like 6-7 years ago, before I even started Your Event Matters. And you know, they were showing me things with Microsoft Paint, you know, doing blackouts with Microsoft Paint and being able to show it on there. And now these programs came out that make life so much easier. But
and just to be sure, custom crop, can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so on the cake, if you look at some videos online, you'll see when they're doing a cake, there's 8 different or 4 layers, 8 surfaces,
right,
and they'll have 8 videos. What you do in Grand VJ is you crop the videos so it makes one long video or one big video on the whole cake. Or if you want to make
so it can frame the cake, as opposed to
it's instead of just video of it looking like there's little TVs on your cake,
right?
Making it look real and realistic, or creating like really unique crops where like the top 2 layers on the right side are doing one thing, the bottom 2 layers on the left side are doing another thing, and then these 2 layers are doing the same thing together. So doing some really unique stuff. You know, for me, I always call it the light switch moment. That moment where you see something and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's all I had to do? Really? And 9 times out of 10, that's all people have to see. They just need to see that you can open up the program and mess with it, and it's really not that hard, you know? So the content.
I can see how the artist would be really excited by this.
Yeah.
Because it's a cool new thing that I can do. But the businessman is probably going to want to know, okay, so this one more thing I got to do, right? I mean, why would I do this? Where's the profit? Where's because that's a lot. It can't be something that just happens. It's time invested, right?
A lot of time. There's a lot of time. And one of the things that people don't pay attention to is the content, the stuff that you're putting on the walls, the stuff that you're putting on the cakes. So, one of the things that most people need to pay attention to is when you're selling the service, you have to realize what you can and can't do. All right. Don't oversell yourself.
Whether it's copyrighted or not.
Copyrighted, or we had a cake mapping in Chicago where the couple, the bride, wanted her head on Elsa's body doing some unique stuff. So I'm like,
I bet you Disney like that,
right? So I'm like, first of all, I can't do that. One, okay. Two, I'll find out what the animator's cost is going to be for that, right. And then three, you have to be ready to pay the Disney Studio licensing, because I won't do anything Disney related on the cake unless they pay the royalties,
right?
Because they are not somebody to mess with.
Oh no, you just you don't mess with Disney. No, not at all.
Right.
But I mean, is it once again a lot of work? Really cool. Is it lucrative?
It is. So most of the time, if a couple reaches out to me and they're booking me for DJ service, or let's say they're just reaching out and they just want to book cake mapping, I'm almost always trying to convince them away from doing the cake mapping. And I'm trying to push them to do wall mapping. I'm getting, as long as I know that venue they're speaking of, I know that there could be a bigger impact when it comes to doing a large wall rather than doing a small cake, right? We've done cakes where at the end of the night, grandma comes up and goes, "What was that? I didn't even know it was here."
Yeah.
So most of the cakes that most of the maps that we're doing are in that $1,500 to $1,700 range. And some of the guests aren't even seeing it, right? So we push it towards the walls. The walls are, one, easier to do, create a more dramatic effect. You're using more equipment. Price is about the same, but when you're selling it to your clients, I'm selling an experience. I'm not just selling the wall being mapped. So, what do you want out of this projection?
Right.
If you're doing a winter wonderland,
what impact do you want to have? Do you want to have an impact on just the people walking by a cake, or do you want the whole room to go?
Exactly. So incorporating uplighting, incorporating gobos in your movers, you're creating a whole new experience and you're creating a whole new sale when you're doing the wall stuff.
Yeah, and you're going to be going through this kind of stuff too.
Absolutely.
So is 2 hours even enough to be
Not
able
at all.
to go through it all? I mean, shouldn't you be doing like one thing?
Right. I can speak really fast. Remember the microphone?
Well, that's not good for us, and not for me. I'm going to be in the back going, "Is he talking Chinese? What is going on?"
No, so I'm going to highlight the important stuff, right? And then I'm going to put it on everybody after that 2 hours is over to kind of reach out to do a little bit more. I think the big thing is seeing how I'm creating that content, seeing how I'm displaying that content on the walls and on the cake, and then how I'm selling it, or what I'm doing to sell it, So, I'm lucky because the sale is easy for me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I could sell that all up and down too. I mean, it is unique. There is not anything like it. And the first time I saw it back back before anybody was doing anything more than just showing it off as new technology.
Right.
Like, oh dear Lord, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the only people who could afford it were like stadiums.
Yeah.
And things like that. And they were doing some really amazing things, right?
Yeah.
So now to have this available to us, to be able to do a premium price on something that can have a dramatic impact on any of the clients we're working on, especially if we're working with clients that care.
Yeah, absolutely.
Care to have that kind of drama in their day. That's pretty extraordinary.
Absolutely.
So, again, I want to be sure everybody gets that Donnie's going to be at the DJNTV show. And the best part about it is not only just the masterclass, but he's there, right? So, one of the coolest things about this show that John is and I am trying to do here is to make this more about the relationships between each of us, that friendly friendship thing, instead of, a big show of a bunch of big stars. And don't get me wrong, Donnie, he's a star when it comes to this stuff, and so is everybody else. But they're coming to be colleagues, right? Mm-hmm. So absolutely. You're going to come to a masterclass, but Donnie's going to be there, right? You're going to be able to shake his hand. You're going to be able to trade cards. You're going to be able to have now a resource.
That's right.
To be able to move forward and do the kind of thing that you can get inspired with with the things he's doing now and the things you're going to see in this masterclass. And his masterclass is going to be Tuesday during the conference at 3:30. Now, you want to know more about this, all you got to do is go to djntv.com/show. And it will give you the entire schedule of the entire conference. Okay. And it starts on Monday, goes Tuesday and Wednesday. And I'm going to be there the entire time as well for the same kind of reason. I'm going to be emceeing, and the things I'm showing off and hoping to teach is really in the way I'm going to be doing things. Okay.
Yeah.
If you would like to get tickets right now, all you got to go is djntv.com/tickets. Okay. And use a promo code, and I'll give it to you right now. It's DJNTV Show 2020, and use that, and it's going to give you a much better rate than what John is trying to get out of you right now. So use that promo code. Tell everybody about that promo code. We want to get as many people there.
Get your tickets now.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to know more about this, and you want to talk to maybe Donnie personally, I'm sure you can reach out to him. His company is called Your Event Matters Entertainment and Illuminate Event Lighting and Projections. He is on Facebook, and he became a friend of mine. He hardly even knew me, so it can't be that tough to become a friend with him on Facebook. But Donnie, why don't you can you share your email in case they wanted to reach out?
Yeah, just youreventmatters@gmail.com. You can locate me on Instagram at DJ Donnie Lewis. Or at Facebook. I have a group on Facebook that's open to the public. You just got to get in there and ask questions. It's just Illuminate Event Lighting and Projections. Check that out, and we do a lot of questions on there. And I'm an open book. Seriously, feel free to reach out to me. I'm right there. I'm an open book, but the only way you're going to get information is you turn to pages and ask me questions.
That's awesome. Donnie, I cannot thank you enough for all the time. You've given me a lot to think about as well. And I like the fact that we had a chance to chat, because I've always wanted to get to know you a little bit better anyway. So
yeah,
it's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm glad that we're friends. And I hope the next time on the Presenter Spotlight, just keep your eye on DJNTV and you'll find out more about what's going on. Get your tickets today, and we'll see you next time on DJNTV Presenter Spotlight.
Have a good one.